I just recently finished moving into a new house. This was mostly a really exciting move for me because I'm finally back in my hometown after being away for almost a decade. The only thing that made this move hard for me was that I had to leave behind a home office that I'd spent years putting together. The last time I was looking to move, I specifically chose the house I did because it had the perfect space for me to work out of and to set up my hobbies. So before I packed everything up, I captured some video of my office to share with all of you. First of all, you'll have to excuse how messy my office is. I literally filmed this right before I started packing everything into boxes, and I really didn't want to take a bunch of extra time to clean everything up. My office is a multi-purpose space that's a culmination of all my hobbies and interests. It's more or less broken down into 6 spaces: my vintage computer collection, an audio recording booth, a workbench set up with tools mostly for electronics repairs, my primary Windows PC, my Mac Pro, and a miscellaneous wall of video games and accessories. The main purpose of this space is for me to be able to effectively do my job as a software engineer. This is also where I record my podcast and just generally enjoy my hobbies. It also serves as an escape when I just need to get away from everything for a while. My favorite thing about my office is my collection of vintage computers. I've been interested in computers my whole life, and I think it's fascinating to see how far technology's evolved over the last few decades. I've been slowly realizing my childhood dream of owning some of the most iconic computers ever made. I don't have all the computers in my collection on display in my office, but I do have the highlights. This collection is mostly the result of keeping a careful eye out at yard sales and on eBay over the years. I found that the longer I look for vintage computers, the easier it gets. Every time I buy a computer from someone, I make a new friend who begins looking for computers for me as well. At this point, I have people all over the country sending me their finds. In the future, I'd like to make some videos going into detail about some of the more interesting computers in my collection. Sometimes I buy a computer that needs some repair work done. When that happens, my workbench has all the tools I need. I won't pretend I'm an expert, but I have been taking apart and repairing electronics for most of my life. I even spent some time studying electrical engineering in college. The main tools I use are my Heiko soldering iron, iFixit toolkit, and quad hands. I'll link them in the description for anyone interested. The most recent computer I've put a lot of time into fixing up is my Mac Pro. I've upgraded everything in this 5.1 from the CPU, GPU, RAM, and storage to the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and USB. It's running a patched version of macOS Catalina so that I still have access to all the latest dev tools, because this is the primary computer I use when writing iOS and macOS apps. I'm not going to go over all the upgrades I've done to this Mac Pro in this video, because I'm working on a separate video to walk through all of that. My primary computer, when I need a Windows environment, is a machine that I built to do 3D rendering when I was taking a computer graphics course in college. It's powered by a Ryzen 1800X and a GTX 1080 Ti. I don't really do any rendering anymore, but I do use it for VR gaming from time to time. Other than that, I mainly use it for my software development job. I'm very happy with the way my sound booth is set up, but it's definitely overkill for what I need. I mainly use this booth for recording my podcast, the r/Apple Show, but I also occasionally use it to record some singing. I use a 2015 27-inch iMac to run everything. My microphone is a Blue Spark on a Blue Compass boom arm. My audio interface is a Tascam US 2x2, and my headphones are Shure SRH 1540s. Again, I'll link everything in the description for you to check out. There's not much to show on this wall. This is mostly just the area I keep spare parts and accessories for my computers. I have an original Xbox and a Wii U connected to this TV for the handful of old games that I want to play, but I don't really use either of them very often. As you can see, I have an office set up at my new house. It doesn't quite have as much space as the last one, so I had to make a couple decisions about what I did and didn't want to keep in here, but I am happy this one has some windows. I might do a tour of this office at some point in the future, but there isn't really much to show right now because it's mostly just the same stuff in a different arrangement. In the meantime, I have more videos planned, including the one I mentioned earlier about upgrading my Mac Pro. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.